Hey y'all, March 1st of reading through your Bible chronologically in 1 year. Today is a day of celebration. I love the first part of the Old Testament, I really do. But I'm so glad to be moving past the law for a little bit. Like we got to read a little bit of narrative yesterday, which was so nice. We read Numbers 6 and Numbers 10. So Numbers 6 starts out with the Nazirite vow. And you know what this reminded me of? It reminded me a lot of fasting. You know, I don't know, you may be like, ooh, fasting, no, thank you very much. I don't want to do that. And that's just for those really kind of crazy Christian-y, real spiritual people. And I used to feel like that too. And so I started going to Hope City a little over a year ago. And shameless plug, if you live in Houston and you need a church, I would advise you go check out one of the Hope City campuses. There are like 4, I think. Or you can check them out online. If you're not in Houston, it's super encouraging. Anyway, at the beginning of every year, we do fasting and praying. And at first I was like, no, I do not like to fast. I've never even wanted to fast. I like to eat. No. But the whole church was doing it, so I was like, okay, I'll do it. And last year I fasted from coffee, which that's crazy. And then this year I fasted from Netflix. And so the whole idea is, what's one thing in your life that is kind of pulling at you and demanding a lot of your desire and attention? Maybe that it distracts you from God. And so like I was going to sleep every night watching Netflix when I could have been spending time with God, because I wasn't doing that as much as I don't want to say should, as much as I wanted to. So I was like shooting myself in the foot, you know, like I want to spend time with God, but I'm like, oh, I don't have time. But then I'm watching Netflix at night. So I was like, okay, I'm going to fast from Netflix and instead spend that time with God. And if you've never tried fasting, I don't know, I say think about it, pray about it. The 2 times that I fasted, I have heard from God super clearly and in ways that I hadn't before that. So I say go for it. Give it a go. It doesn't have to be food. It just needs to hurt a little bit. Like I really wanted to watch Netflix this year. And last year I really wanted some coffee. But I was okay. You know what I'm saying? You pray during those times. You go to God and pray during those times. And he shows up. So think about it. All right, and then Numbers 6, 22 through 27 is this blessing. May the Lord bless you and protect you. May the Lord smile on you and be gracious to you. May the Lord show you his favor and give you his peace. I loved this because this is why. The Lord told Moses to tell Aaron to tell the Israelites this blessing, which means it came from the Lord, which means this is his heart for us. This is what he wants for us. So if we're feeling like God doesn't want to bless me, or God's not protecting me, or God is mad at me, he's not smiling on me, or that he doesn't have any grace, he's all about judging and he's all about discipline and punishment, or the law, or maybe we feel like he's not showing us any favor at all and nothing's going right for us, or maybe we feel like we just can't get any peace, or God isn't big enough to give us the peace that we want. We're going to feel anxious forever. If we're believing any of those things, we're simply walking in lies. And we need to look at this and go, this is God's heart for me. So even though I feel super anxious, I'm going to pray in faith and go, God, I know that your heart for me is to have peace. And so please help me to receive your peace. I know that you are protecting me. So please help me to see that. I know that you're smiling on me. So please help me to stop feeling like you're mad at me. All right, this is his heart for you. And then we see the silver trumpets, and we'll see a little bit of that later on in the Old Testament when they're blowing the trumpets. Then they're leaving Sinai, and we see them leaving in the order in which we talked about a couple days ago, where it's when it's time to break camp and move on, then you know these tribes go. It's like tribes, the tabernacle, and the Levites, and then more tribes and more tribes. So they're super protected. Here's the cool thing: is that when the Levites went out, the tribe that was responsible for carrying the sacred articles inside the tabernacle went after all the other Levites. So in verse 10:21 it says, next came the Kohathite division of the Levites carrying the sacred objects from the tabernacle. Before they arrived at the next camp, the tabernacle would already be set up at its new location. And so again, God is a God of order and he has a plan, and he's setting things up in that order. And so when we're trying to make things happen, he's like, I'm working out my plan. Just follow me. I'm going to prepare it for you before you even get there. That's what this reminded me of. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's taking care of it all. He has a plan. I just thought that was really cool. Like, they just showed up and put all the sacred articles where they belonged, inside the tabernacle. All right. And then at the end of chapter 10, Moses, they're about to leave, and then his brother-in-law, he wants his brother-in-law to go with him, but his brother-in-law doesn't want to go, and it just made me go, what's my reaction when God is moving and he wants me to go with him? Whether that's physically, whether that's like a big change in my life, or maybe it's just somewhere he wants to take me in spirit. Am I willing to go with him? Am I willing to make the sacrifice and leave behind things to move ahead with God? Am I willing to let go of something so I can move ahead with God? So that's a really great question to ask ourselves today, to kind of ask God to go, where am I when you're asking me to obey or move with you? Show me my reaction to that, and then talk to God about that, because that's an obedience and a trust issue. And so we always want to be people who trust him. And so if we can say, God, is that an area where you and I need to kind of attend to? He'll show you. Okay, all right, and then March 2nd is Numbers 11, 12, and 13. March 3rd is Numbers 14, Numbers 15. That's it. And I will talk to you on Monday. Farewell.